today's climate, I can't imagine that somebody in a position of authority thought that this was going to go over well, that this would end well.
Yeah, it's bad publicity, I guess.
Think, managers, think.
The average American eats at fast casual restaurants like Arby's around 14 times a year. That's like inviting the "We have the meats" slogan into your dining room once a month, complete with that curly-haired cowboy hat logo and promises of premium roast beef. But before you start craving those curly fries that somehow taste like onion rings, had a baby with a potato chip, there's something you should probably hear. Remember when your health teacher said you are what you eat? If that's the case, then a lot of us are walking, talking deli slicers covered in processed cheese sauce and artificial smoke flavoring. Last week, I found a leftover Arby's roast beef sandwich in my car from, wait for it, 3 weeks ago. The scary part? The meat looked exactly the same as the day I bought it. No green fuzz, no weird smell, no signs of decay whatsoever. My homemade roast beef starts looking questionable after 3 days in the fridge. This thing looked like it was ready for another road trip. A real roast beef sandwich has maybe 5 ingredients: beef, bread, maybe some horseradish if you're feeling fancy, salt, and pepper. But according to Arby's own ingredient listings, their roast beef contains sodium phosphates, carrageenan, and a list of preservatives that reads more like a chemistry experiment than a deli counter. Let's talk about that famous roast beef that built the entire brand. Arby's wants you to believe they're slow-roasting premium cuts in the back of every restaurant, like some kind of fast food steakhouse. But here's what the food industry doesn't want you to know about how most fast casual roast beef actually gets made. According to industry reports, most fast food roast beef arrives at restaurants pre-cooked and pre-sliced, vacuum-sealed in plastic bags. The meat is processed at industrial facilities where it's injected with sodium solutions to increase weight and extend shelf life. This is a common practice across the industry, designed to create consistency and reduce costs. But here's the kicker. They're so proud of this processed meat product that they literally built their entire marketing campaign around it. "We have the meats," they shout, like they just discovered fire. Yeah, you have meats. So does a gas station hot dog roller. That doesn't make it good. What really gets me is how that roast beef manages to have the exact same texture at every location. Every Arby's, every state, the same slightly spongy consistency, the same artificial beef flavor, the same way it falls apart when you bite into it. That's because industrial food processing is designed for uniformity, not quality. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but at least those curly fries are good, right? Well, let's talk about what goes into those twisted potato shapes that everyone seems to love. According to Arby's own nutritional information, their curly fries contain over 15 ingredients, including natural flavors, spice extractives, and various preservatives. Like most fast food fries, they arrive frozen and pre-seasoned. The seasoning isn't applied fresh at the restaurant. It's baked into the fries during manufacturing. And that oil they're fried in? Industry standards allow frying oil to be filtered and reused for days or even weeks, depending on usage and local regulations. As oil breaks down from repeated heating, it can develop compounds that affect both taste and potentially health. But here's where things get really interesting. You know those commercials where they show the meat being sliced fresh? Well, the reality of fast food operations is quite different from the marketing. Fast food restaurants operate on efficiency models that prioritize speed and consistency over traditional food preparation. What this means is that most menu items are designed to be assembled quickly from pre-prepared components, not made to order like you'd expect at a traditional deli. And let's talk about that cheese sauce that goes on everything. You know that bright orange liquid that looks like it could glow in the dark? According to ingredient lists, it's made from processed cheese, water, and various emulsifiers and preservatives. It's designed to stay liquid and pourable under heat lamps for extended periods. That famous Arby's sauce that people seem to love? The ingredient list includes high fructose corn syrup, tomato paste, distilled vinegar, and various artificial and natural flavors. It's essentially a sweet and tangy condiment designed to enhance the flavor of processed meats. Now here's where the story takes a turn that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about fast food marketing. Those market-fresh sandwiches that sound so healthy and farm-to-table? According to nutritional information, many contain processed deli meats that are high in sodium and preservatives. The fresh vegetables are typically pre-cut and packaged, which is standard practice in the fast food industry for efficiency and food safety reasons. But the real eye-opener is what happens to nutritional content when you look at the actual numbers. Arby's classic roast beef sandwich contains 360 calories and 970 milligrams of sodium. That's about 40% of your daily recommended sodium intake in one sandwich. Add curly fries, and you're looking at over 1,400 milligrams of sodium in one meal. Their turkey and Swiss sandwich, which sounds like a healthier option, actually contains 800 calories and 1,660 milligrams of sodium. That's more sodium than you should consume in an entire day, according to American Heart Association guidelines. And speaking of health guidelines, let's talk about those healthier menu options. The roast turkey farmhouse salad contains 230 calories, which sounds reasonable until you add the dressing. With ranch dressing, that salad jumps to 520 calories and over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. You could eat a Big Mac and consume less sodium. But here's what really made my jaw drop when I started researching this. According to the Center for Science in the Public Interest, many fast food chains, including Arby's, have menu items that exceed recommended daily limits for sodium, saturated fat, or calories in a single serving. The beef and cheddar sandwich contains 1,280 milligrams of sodium, more than half your daily limit. The large curly fries add another 1,480 milligrams. That's one meal with more sodium than most people should consume in 2 days. And then there's the sugar content that's hidden in supposedly savory items. Many of Arby's sauces and dressings contain high fructose corn syrup or other added sugars. The honey mustard sauce contains 5 grams of sugar per packet. Use 2 packets, and you've added 10 grams of sugar to your sandwich. That's more than 2 teaspoons. But wait. It gets even more interesting when you look at the processing methods used in the fast food industry. Most fast food roast beef is made using a process called tumbling, where meat is placed in large rotating drums with salt solutions and other additives. This process breaks down muscle fibers and allows the meat to absorb more water and sodium, increasing weight and extending shelf life. The result is meat that can contain up to 12% added water and sodium solutions, according to USDA regulations. So when you're paying for roast beef, you're actually paying for a significant amount of water and salt. And here's something that'll make you laugh and cry at the same time. The fast food industry spends billions on marketing to make processed food look appealing. Those commercials with perfectly stacked sandwiches and steam rising from fresh carved meat, they often use food stylists and even non-food products to create the perfect shot. Food photography for advertisements is a specialized field where the goal is visual appeal, not accurate representation of what customers actually receive. It's legal, but it's also misleading. But here's where the story gets really personal. The more I researched fast food nutrition, the more I realized how easy it is to consume dangerous amounts of sodium, saturated fat, and calories without even realizing it. A typical Arby's meal, let's say a beef and cheddar, curly fries, and a soft drink, can easily exceed 1,500 calories and 2,000 milligrams of sodium. That's more calories than many people need in an entire day, and nearly a full day's worth of sodium. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, with an ideal limit of 1,500 milligrams for most adults. One Arby's meal can put you over that limit before you've had breakfast or dinner. And the long-term effects of this kind of eating are well documented. High sodium intake is linked to high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. Excessive calorie consumption leads to obesity, which increases the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and numerous other health problems. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect is how normalized this has become. We expect fast food to be high in sodium and calories. We expect it to be processed and artificial. We've accepted that convenience comes at the cost of nutrition. The truth is, when you look at the actual nutritional information and ingredient lists, Arby's isn't selling premium roast beef sandwiches. They're selling processed food products that are engineered to taste good while maximizing profit margins and shelf life. Now, you might be wondering, if all this is true, why do people keep eating there? The answer is both simple and complex, because it's designed to be appealing. Food scientists and flavor chemists work to create combinations of salt, fat, and sugar that trigger pleasure responses in our brains. The goal isn't just to satisfy hunger, it's to create cravings that bring customers back. This isn't conspiracy theory stuff. It's well-documented food science. Companies invest millions in research to understand how flavors, textures, and even packaging colors affect consumer behavior. And the marketing reinforces these biological responses. The "We Have the Meats" campaign isn't just about informing you of menu options, it's about creating an emotional connection to the brand and making processed meat seem premium and desirable. But here's what happened when I decided to take a break from fast food for a month. Not as some grand health experiment, but just to see what would happen to my taste buds and energy levels. The first week was surprisingly difficult. I found myself craving that specific combination of salt, artificial flavors, and processed textures that fast food had trained my brain to want. My usual lunch spots suddenly seemed limited. But by the second week, something interesting started happening. Food started tasting different. Real roast beef from a local deli had flavors and textures I'd forgotten existed. Homemade fries actually tasted like potatoes instead of just salt and oil. The biggest change was in my energy levels. Without the constant blood sugar spikes and crashes from high-sodium, high-calorie fast food, my energy became more consistent throughout the day. I stopped feeling that post-lunch sluggishness that I just accepted as normal. When the month ended, I decided to try Arby's again, just to see if my perception had changed. I ordered my old favorite, a classic roast beef sandwich with curly fries. The difference was striking. The meat tasted overwhelmingly salty and had a texture that seemed artificial. The fries were so heavily seasoned they masked any potato flavor. Everything tasted like it had been engineered in a lab rather than prepared in a kitchen. That's the power of resetting your palate. When you're not constantly exposed to artificial flavors and excessive sodium, you start to notice how different processed food tastes from real food. The truth is, there's nothing inherently wrong with enjoying fast food occasionally. But the problem arises when it becomes a regular part of your diet, and when you're not aware of what you're actually consuming. According to the CDC, the average American consumes about 3,400 milligrams of sodium per day, nearly 50% more than the recommended maximum. Much of this excess comes from restaurant and processed foods, not from salt added at home. Similarly, the average American consumes about 2,000 calories per day, but many people underestimate their intake because restaurant portions have grown so large that we've lost perspective on normal serving sizes. This isn't about shaming anyone for their food choices. This is about having enough information to make informed decisions. You deserve to know what you're putting into your body, not just what the marketing wants you to believe you're eating. If you're going to eat at Arby's or any fast food restaurant, at least know what you're getting. Check the nutritional information. Read the ingredient lists. Understand that roast beef might not mean what you think it means. And if you want to experience what roast beef actually tastes like, try making it at home or visiting a local deli that slices meat to order. The difference in flavor, texture, and nutritional content might surprise you. Because when you strip away the marketing and the convenience, food should nourish your body, not just satisfy engineered cravings. It should give you energy, not drain it. It should be made with care for your health, not just for profit margins. The choice is yours. But now, at least, it's an informed choice based on facts rather than marketing slogans and artificial smoke flavoring. You deserve better than processed meat products disguised as premium dining. You deserve to know the truth about what you're eating, even when that truth isn't as appetizing as the commercials make it seem.